here, as well as let me make sure the mic is working. It is. Snowball has been acting. Oh, wait a minute. We got double audio here. There we go. Now we should be good. All right, folks. Hopefully you guys are seeing us, and if you're not, please let us know. If you're not hearing us, please let us know. If you heard double audio there, you probably should have only heard that for just a second. You're going to see me look to my right. Your left is going to look like I'm looking at Smitty. You're going to see that happen from time to time because I'm looking at my computer. And I just have the camera faced in a way to where it seems like when I turn my head, I'm looking at Smitty. Clever, right? But anyway, man, welcome, man. Wow. We got a lot to talk about. Like I said, we'll wait a few minutes to let some of you guys get up in here because we got quite a few stuff to get into tonight. We don't want you guys to miss out on anything. We already know the elephant in the room, Smitty. A lot of people are here because of the 2K stuff. We're going to save that for last because I think we're going to spend a lot of time there. Even though when I say last, in the beginning, we're going to, talk about the coronavirus and the NBA and the NCAA and, all of that stuff. We'll get that out of the way, and then we'll dive into the 2K versus Madden. Whole lot of things that we want to address there. Smitty and I also want to get to a point that we wanted to make last week, and unfortunately, I was unable to make the show last week. Apologize for that, guys. But it just seems like a lot of stuff has been going on right around Thursday, but I'm going to try to, get back and stick to the schedule. And of course, if there's ever a week that we don't really have much to go into, we'll let you know well in advance if there will be a show or not. Definitely want to cover the whole shout outs to Eric Rayweather, man. He made a couple videos now, but shout outs to him. He made a video a few weeks back, or maybe a week or so back, and he's basically saying, what happened to franchise mode in Madden, where he was able to talk with a previous developer. We definitely want to get into that because it mirrored a lot of the stuff that Smitty and I have been saying for years. And some things we also want to give a different opinion on, but that's basically going to be the bulk of the show. So we do have a decent amount of people in here, man. So let's go ahead and get started. So Smitty, first and foremost, let's attack the coronavirus stuff. Everything from how you're currently feeling about it. I know it's very obvious, but let's go into the things that we're doing to protect ourselves, for those who may not know. How you feel about how it affected the NBA, Rudy Gobert, NCAA. Yeah. I mean, let's just dive right into all of that first, man. Wherever you want to begin.
I mean, the most popular platform is definitely the NBA. Yeah. So, I mean, we definitely want to touch on that first. I mean, it was just a matter of time. And that was something I was kind of thinking about too, was because I'm like, if they're doing what they're doing with the NCAA, which I feel they just need to postpone the whole tournament. I don't think they need. I think that's pretty silly to just have games being played and nobody's going to be there, but it's just going to be played anyways. Like, just cancel it. You know what I mean? Because like I saw a little bit earlier today that Coach K is pulling out of the Coach K. Duke is pulling out the tournament altogether. Yeah. So it's like, if you got key schools like that pulling out, why not just skip the tournament? Like, cancel the tournament or postpone it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because this situation is a serious situation. I understand, and I mean, and like what, like Sim and I just touched on before the show started, but the thing is, unfortunately, there are certain crowds that are being affected by this virus situation. But at the same time, you have a good number of stories that are not being talked about, like people that are surviving, people that have recovered, from the virus and everything as well. So it's not like it's just this overwhelming number of people that have just, died like the vast majority of people, as soon as they got hit with it, it's all doom, gloom, and peril, and that's it. So, I understand the big that that's a concern. But okay, I see. Oh, they said that the Gamer Champ said it's canceled. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I know
cool.
earlier today,
All right.
the last I had saw was I was watching, I happened to be on my lunch break here at home when the ACC tournament was about to start and they canceled that. And I think I did see later on that they officially canceled the entire tournament. I
Okay.
wasn't all the way sure though.
Oh, okay, cool. But okay, well, stand corrected. I'm glad they did that. Before they did that, they were going to have that go on. That's when we was looking at that. But I was also thinking, what about the XFL? What about the NBA? Because they were still steadily playing games and everything else. And then they do the cancellation, and it's like, ooh, you
Yeah.
know, the
Wow.
that's ugh. And then to find out you got dudes on the New York Knicks, that got hit. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Emmanuel Mudiay is on the Knicks. If I'm not mistaken, he got hit with it. But
Oh, it's more
then,
people now?
yeah, they said that yesterday. Him,
Oh man, I thought it was just so far just Gobert
just Gobert, and that's
and
it.
Donovan Mitchell.
No, at least unless it's not confirmed, then I mean that's what I was seeing that on Twitter. So I'm like, oh man. So that's all I'm thinking. Other cats got hit too, but then the Gobert stuff I see today, and it's like Gobert. Gobert was being joking. He was, joking about it and everything. And like, it ain't nothing to joke about. People lost lives off of it, and you up here trying to be funny about it. And then he said he was acting all haphazardly, which I don't even know what was he doing in the locker room. But then you hit the star player of the team. I mean, Gobert is a star on the team too, but you hit Mitchell with that? Oh man, no man, like that right there. It's like on site, like yo, it's about to be
Yeah.
a scrap.
I need my
You know,
5 minutes. As soon as we
yeah,
get better, I still need my
right,
5 minutes, bro.
yeah,
Yeah. We gotta hash that one out.
yeah. Somebody catching a fade on that one. Like, I'm sorry, that is not acceptable. So yeah, but yeah, Mitchell got hit with it. So, and I mean, what was it? The Thunder. It was the Thunder and the Jazz that were playing, right? That were supposed to
Yeah.
play,
Yep.
and they basically kept everybody quarantined in the arena. Like all the players stayed there at the arena so they could screen and make sure that everybody is cleared. And then yeah, obviously everybody's not cleared. So yeah, that's just like it's a tough situation. But I mean, as far as how my family and I have been dealing with it, look, we wash our hands and everything. Like my wife has a daycare, dealing with kids and everything. You know that people are going to be, the kids, viruses, colds, coughing, sneezing, hacking, all that stuff. All that goes on. So they have to be cautious. Kids have to be cautious. I was at home with my son because, with my son being a preemie and everything like that, he's very susceptible to catching colds quick. So he doesn't have he could be in the environment not long and then he can end up picking up stuff. So that's why I just stayed at home with him and kept him in, to keep him away. You know what I'm saying? His immune system's not built up enough, to handle any of that. So,
Yeah.
well, we're not going to chance that. So, we just take the safety measures, but washing our hands, I need to get some lemons because, let's say you could drink some lemon water. You heat up some lemons in some water, make it alkaline water. You drink a cup of that. That helps with building your immune system up. Eating oranges. I take my vitamin C pills as well. So it's like, along with washing my hands, covering your mouth when you cough, sneeze, etc. Don't make that, like I said, just stuff that you should be doing in the first place. And this is another thing too. My wife and I know other people buy them too, but we buy Clorox wipes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you look, this is not new. It's on the package. If you look on the back
Lysol.
of the package,
it says
on the Lysol, it says the coronavirus, like it names all the different stuff that it fights against. Coronavirus is on the back. So this is not a brand new thing that just all of a sudden just came out of nowhere. Like, no, this has been something that's been there. So take the precautionary measures. Wash your hands and all that stuff. You know, if you're using the bathroom and all that stuff, wash your hands. You know what I mean? Put some sanitizer on your hands and all that stuff. Don't do all that. You know, don't think you too cool that you ain't got to do all that or whatever. Folk be touching all kinds of stuff during the course of the day. You don't know who does what, you know, when, where, whatever. Be careful with all that. Because as you can see now guys are being real, oh man, I got to buy hand sanitizer. Now people want to be sanitary. You know what I'm saying? Like when it blows up alarming, they want to be sanitary. I'm like, that's the stuff that you gotta do. You know what I mean? You should be doing anyways. Just wash, be clean, be sanitary. That's your best defense, to be quite honest. And that's for me listening to the radio. Somebody had talked on a local radio that they're affiliated with the CDC, and they're like, the best thing that you could do is the ones and the twos. Wash your hands, cover your mouth when you coughing and sneezing, but wash your hands regularly. Don't be putting your hands all on your face, eyes, etc., and all that stuff, and they're not cleansed. So, that's the most important thing to do. But as far as all these situations, I mean, I will say this. As far as the sports side of it, I do appreciate, the XFL players are still going to get played. I mean, players are still going to get paid their base salaries anyways. So they're going to get paid. They basically canceled the rest of the season. Their players are going to get paid the rest of their, the rest of the time and everything or whatever. The rest of the season, excuse me. They're going to get their pay. And then, so I don't know how things are going to happen as far as going forward, sporting events, etc., all that stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? But, I mean, there's a way to make it all work, at the end of the day. So they'll make it work. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. He said WWE, they should. I mean, it doesn't make sense to hold these events. Nobody's there's no real excitement to just have these events held like WrestleMania and all that stuff when it's like nobody's there. The audience makes the events. You know what I'm saying? So it really doesn't make sense to have that go on. That's just like a group performing a concert or whatever, and there's nobody in the audience. It's like, but we're gonna keep our dates anyways. It's like, why? No one's there.
Right.
So, so that's the whole thing about that. But that's really all that I have in regards of it.
Yeah, man. Just to add on really quick to what Smitty said, man, and then we'll get to what I know y'all want to hear us talk about with the Madden stuff and 2K. Go Bear, man. It's crazy. Listen, I see people saying, he's a bad guy. No, man. I mean, should he have kidded around the way he did? Probably not. And it's crazy that it came back and he actually has the coronavirus, and now what he did on Monday with the microphones and all that just looked crazy. And whatever it is he did in the locker room. And like I said, you got the right to be mad at him if you one of them players. I would be. I really would be, because you should have took it way more seriously, but I don't think the dude is a bad guy just because of that. But, wow. This is something that's going to follow him around forever now.
Yep.
A reputation that he doesn't want. And it's crazy, man. I feel like, I'm not a paranoid person or nothing like that. I'm just a realist. And like Smitty said, we talked about it before the show. Be aware of the situation, but don't panic so much yet, because you have to pay attention to the numbers. Now, if the numbers start rising dramatically, then you could be a little more concerned as far as like, okay, it's getting real. But keep in mind how many people, and again, the media is not really trying to tell you this. We all know the agenda of the media. It's a story. We're only hearing about the deaths and the amount of people who are getting infected. What they're not really showing us that much is how many people, I mean thousands upon thousands of people, who have recovered from it. or in the middle of recovering from it. A whole bunch of people that didn't even have any real drastic symptoms. I just watched a video of this lady just a little while ago. Me and my wife was watching. She was like, she thought she just had the flu. And she thought it might have been a different strain of the flu than the one that she has in her vaccine that she normally gets every year. She's like, she had the fever. She didn't have any respiratory issues, so she didn't think it was coronavirus. But basically, she never went to the doctor. She called her best friend or whoever, she said, like one of her good friends, in the middle of the night, was like, hey, I think I might go to the emergency room. Ended up not going. So long story short, she stayed hydrated. She did the normal things that she said she normally would do when having a cold or the flu. And now she's fine. I mean, literally. And she never officially went to the doctor. The only way she found out that she had it is she said there was this research group in Seattle that her and her friends, they all had been to a party, and all of them was kind of feeling a little funny, like 4 or 5 days or so later. So they decided to go there. They tested her. She got a call back, and they said, hey, you actually tested positive. But that was it. It came and went. And I'm not saying that all of them are going to be that way, but I'm just saying I wish the media would show more of these situations so it wouldn't cause so much of a panic. Of course, none of us want it, obviously. But we need to hear more about the people who are getting it and getting over it. And not just tell us about the people that are dying, which is still a very, very, very low percentage. So that's all I would say, man, is acknowledge it. Be aware of it. Like Smitty said, what I'm doing, me and my family, I got hand sanitizer. I got the antibacterial soap, a bunch of that. Washing my hands. I always wash my hands anyway, but now I'm even being more cautious. Like, prime example, my right nostril right now is itching. And instead of me scratching it like I normally would do, I might do something like this. Instead of, or you guys know it's a habit. If you work in an office, you might have a pen in your hand and you might bite little stuff like that. I'm just being mindful of that. Not putting my hand in my mouth, not rubbing my eyes and things like that. Desanitizing this.
Right. Oh, yes.
Little things like must. That. So you don't have to be, crazy, but just be more, just try to stay hydrated. Like Smitty said, if you're taking vitamins, I take Airborne from time to time. I've been taking it daily since probably Saturday now to build your immune system and stuff like that. And just be careful, but don't panic. At least not yet. That's all I would say. How I feel about the NBA and NCAA, I agree with Smitty all the way. I think you have to do that. What I think we might also have to do, Smitty, which it's going to suck if it happens, but I think the U.S., we might fall in line with some of these other countries, and they might quarantine the country for like 10 days and shut us down. It might be a necessity because at this point, you got to try to do something to keep it from spreading. So don't be surprised, folks, if that happens. But we'll see. But I don't really have much more to say about it. I did want to comment on somebody in here was saying, I think Luke was saying it, what about the NFL draft and when do you think the finals will be and all of that? Nobody knows, man. It could very well be that the NBA is suspended for 14 days or whatever, like the standard quarantine. There are no other cases. And let's say within these next 14 days, the numbers are not rising as predicted. They might reopen the season. You know what I mean? We don't know. It could be. And again, my nose is itching me crazy right here on the side of but I won't touch it because you don't want to get into your pores and all of that jazz. It could be, man, that this thing is a thing for the next 5 months. Nobody knows. I mean, at this point, you're just guessing to say what it is or what it isn't going to be. What if the rest of 2020 has no sports? You never know. So I'm just not going to speculate. I'll just sit back, man, and see what happens. Prime says it's for 30 days, the postponement. Okay. So I don't know. And, not fact checking Prime. I'm just saying I don't know if that is true or not, but if it is, according to what Prime is saying, then there you go. Maybe it's just a 30-day thing. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But Smitty, let's get into the 2K news. Well, you want to attack that first, or you want to do the franchise stuff?
No, we'll do the. I mean, the franchise stuff's gonna roll into it. So let's do the franchise stuff first, and then we'll roll it. Roll it all in, because like the franchise stuff, I'll be brief because I know the 2K thing is like really that's the big deal. So I'll head off like with the franchise thing. This is my main takeaway from it. And if you guys didn't see the video by Eric Rayweather, like first of all, shout out to him for the vid. It was a really good video. But if you guys did not see the video, definitely check it out because it was very good insight he had on that video. So definitely check it out. But basically, he talked to a former dev that got to they worked on franchise mode in the past, and they basically were giving a lot of details about the inner workings of franchise mode and how things are and all that good stuff. Now, and working on it back on PS2 days and the Xbox days. The way it sounds is like basically it makes it sound as if there's some kind of pass being given to a degree. Like, oh man, people think that what they did was good, but oh man, we had all kinds of technical issues and all kinds of, we had issues with this and issues with that system and plus we had systematic changeover, so that was impactful negatively too. And it's like I understand that happens, okay? Like no one is taking any of that away. But, because basically he said from PS2 and Xbox to the 360, we all know the big debacle that happened and all that, right? So he was talking about, because of the systematic changeover that they lost the system that they had on PS2 and Xbox. They couldn't bring that over. So it's like, okay, I get it. Like, I understand. Like I empathize with that. Now, the problem though is that even with that happening, you still have a franchise mode that, or a game in general, that lacked severely because of the shortcomings that had happened. Like there was a lot lacking. You know what I mean? So you fast forward going through Gen 3. When they made the move to the CFM, when they put in CFM, that was another systematic changeover. So once again, whatever system they were trying to build, they had to start over again. So it's like they had to start over again multiple times. And because of that, that's why we're stuck with what we have right now. And once again, and that's why I say I empathize with it, but I can't give that a pass. Because even with the systematic changes or changeover, I should say, we still should have got a much better game than what we have at this point, even with them making those kind of changes. Because at the end of the day, we're the, I know it's a cliche thing to say, but I mean, we're the consumers at the end of the day. It's not our concern that, we shouldn't be saying, well, because they ran into an obstacle and because they ran into a roadblock, that means that they weren't able to deliver. Oh, okay, so I guess you guys couldn't deliver. So I guess we should just, be taking that because that's what happened. Like, nah, that's not, that's not something that's going to be acceptable or accepted. So let me just say this here. So the thing is, what bugs me about it is, if you look at any other industry that drops a product on a yearly basis, you could take the auto industry. I'm pretty sure if you talk to a designer of a car or something like that, I bet you they'd be able to tell you about all kinds of shortcomings they faced, all kinds of issues that they ran into. But they're not going to make the excuse. They're not going to make an excuse, and they're not going to give a pass and be like, well, you know what? Because we had these hardships, man, this is what ended up happening. It's like, nah, but they're not gonna give that pass. They still have to deliver a quality product. If Ford tries to go by, well, we had all these problems, so that's why our car is terrible, or that's why we have all these problems, or that's why we're not able to do better, their company will get swallowed up by the competition. You see what I'm saying? So they still have to deliver in the midst of that. They still have to deliver. There's no real excuse or pass for them. So I get the explanation, and I appreciate the technicality being spoken of, but it doesn't give them the bye because they had those technical problems. I'm pretty sure 2K runs into all kinds of technical issues as well. Look where their game is at, though. They still push, and they still strive, and they still do that. Even with all the issues that they have, the online stuff and everything, they still push and they still strive. So that's the key thing that I look at, or that I took away from that video. It was a good video and great insight, but that's the other thing too. You have all those systematic issues. You're talking about PS2 and Xbox days, but at the same time, you make hundreds of millions more dollars every year in comparison to what you did back on PS2 and Xbox. So to be like, you make hundreds of millions of dollars more, but then, because we made this changeover, we couldn't do anything more. It's like, no, you don't get that pass. I'm sorry, that's not gonna cut it for you. So you have to definitely do better in that regard. So, but that's my takeaway from the video, that I took from it. But you could go ahead, Sim.
Yeah, man, I share a lot of what Smitty said, and I'll add a different side to it in a bit. But just to go along with what Smitty was saying, I understand what the dev was saying from a pure, I guess you want to say, base level explanation. Like, I get it. Okay, that's what happened. But the problem is, like Smitty said, you can't get a pass for that, though. Because it still comes back to, you have to produce the game that people want. Madden was built off a franchise. And you clearly knew that as a company. Because if you didn't know that, you wouldn't have built all of the things that you built. You wouldn't have had a... Do they think we don't remember that they went as far as adding a separate game which was called Head Coach 09 that put the full power in your hands as far as running a team? So y'all knew how in-depth your Madden fans wanted their game. Think about that for a minute. You already have a pretty deep franchise, with drills and all that kind of stuff. And on top of that, somehow you decided, you know what? I think our football fans, they want the real experience. We're gonna allow them to be a complete coach on the outside of Madden. There was a reason why you built that. It wasn't just by circumstance. You built it for a reason. So I don't want to hear, this is what happened. We get it. But that still doesn't, it still doesn't excuse you from not producing a valuable game by now, as far as having depth, having a deeper franchise. I don't want to hear that. I do appreciate him saying what happened, because again, Smitty and I know most of that. We've been telling y'all that for years. We've been saying what happened to Madden was Xbox 360. It was a debacle. They've never taken the time to go back to recreate or rebuild what they once had. And it's unfortunate that franchise took a huge hit gameplay-wise, even though some of us would still say there's some elements from back then that we still preferred as far as how it functioned. You can say gameplay has tried to get back into improving in a better, better direction, but franchise hasn't got nothing. Nothing really. Nothing, not really too many things that we could say that they once had has returned. And it just goes back, and here's the other side of the coin. It goes back to what we always say. It's priority. He basically proved to you guys what we have been telling y'all for years. It all comes down to what the people in that building, the ones who control the money, deem as priority. That should have, even with the dev, with Eric, Rayweather was saying that the dev told him, that should tell you again, that's more proof to let you guys know it ain't on the devs. It's clearly not on the devs. They can only do and work on things that they're allowed to work on. Now, just a quick sidebar. Anything that the devs give us, yeah, we got a right to blame them for that. The abilities and all that stuff that's in the game now, those that we think that are overpowered, stuff like that, that's on the devs because y'all built that. So I expect anything that you put in the game to work better. But as far as what's missing, that's always going to come down to what they're able to do. And it sucks, man, because I don't know what the future is, Smitty, man. I know Mike Young claims that there will be some investment into it. We'll see. I hate to sound pessimistic, but you guys know we're always going to tell you the real and tell you the truth. Just judging by some of the conversation we have with some people that are affiliated, not devs, but other persons that are like us, how they don't always see our point when we talk about some of these things that need to return. It kind of makes me feel like, okay, what side of the coin is the building on? Do they agree more with these guys or do they agree more with us? We don't know. Remember, we haven't been there in a while. But that's kind of how I feel about that, man. Great informative video. I appreciate Eric for what he does. I know some people give him grief. I don't understand why. My man Rayweather is a YouTube personality. He's been that. When I met him 2 years ago, he started building his channel. He never proclaimed to be like me and Smitty. He's not, his claim to fame is not a hardcore sim guy. He's just a YouTube personality. He plays Madden and he has built a very successful channel. Up to 230,000 subs right now. Great job to him. But I like what he does. I actually like that he's become the informative guy. He does a couple of his tip videos and things like that, but he has a lane, and bravo to him. So I don't understand why people try to poke holes in that's what we have to stop doing too in the community. We got to stop policing everybody like everybody thinks like us. The only thing that we do need to do though is call out people that are completely missing the point, which brings me to this point, Smitty. And thank you to who was it in the chat? Thad Radcliffe, I think, and I might be saying his name wrong, but he knows who he is. He reminded me of this. This wasn't on the docket, but I think it's a perfect time to interject it real quick before we go to 2K. Yes, I did see the video that Dubby put out. Thank you for whoever clipped it and put it on Twitter. Thank you for bringing it up. Here's the thing. And, I met Dubby a couple times. He probably doesn't halfway remember me. No big deal. But this is the thing that we have to do as a football gaming community. Whether you're on competitive side or sim side or not, the point that I think people like W is missing every time, and I have a football over there. I wish I would have thought of it. I'd have brought it here and did what he did in his video. He basically picked up a real football and said, this is what the sim guys need to do. This is sim football. If you really want football, here it is. Get 11 of your buddies and go out. This is the point that some of those guys seem to miss. we're not saying that we want the game to be no game is perfect. But I think it's very fair for us to want a true representation of a sport as close as it can be. You know why? These other games are doing it. Why is it Madden the game that everybody wants to handcuff or, oh, if they want real football, go get a football. Y'all ain't telling nobody to go pick up a bat for MLB that's dropping in a minute.
Right.
For people who pre-ordered, they get to rock that thing tonight. I didn't pre-order this time, but y'all ain't telling them that. Y'all ain't telling my man M. Frisk to just stick to his the baseball stuff he does in real life. Y'all ain't telling him just to stick to that. Most of his fans like the fact that he can pretty much have a very entertaining franchise and rebuild in MLB The Show because the game is, I won't go as far as saying uber realistic because I know it's not, because somebody in here is gonna get me and say, well, what about the pitch counts? I know. We're getting into the minutia of those things. I get it, but on the surface, the game looks and performs and feels like baseball. NBA 2K. Me and Smitty will be the first two to tell you there's still issues in that game. But for the most part, it looks and feels and performs like NBA basketball. From the animations to the depth. And Wakia will chime in right here. I'm gonna throw a game out there he's always reminding people. Pez. I'm not a soccer player, so I can't say technically how realistic it is, but I know what. When I do watch Kia's compilations or when I've played the game myself, oh boy, that looks like soccer to me in terms of how they move, ball physics, interaction, and that's all we're looking at. People who always want to say me and Smitty don't know what we're talking about because, oh, those games aren't sim. We're not just talking about the pure essence of the sport. I don't think any sports game has captured that yet. We're just talking about realism in terms of how people move, interact, and how physics plays a role in everything that you see. That's what we're talking about when we say, man, why can't EA get Madden like FIFA? Those are the things Smitty and I are talking about. We're not talking about soccer rules and pace of the game because I have no idea. We're just talking about how they run, they move, the one-to-one interactions, how everything seems seamless, the player movement. That's what we're talking about. But why is it that Madden is always the game where the competitive guys who are that far left got to go off on a tangent like that? That scares me about the production of the game. Because once again, EA seems like EA Tiburon, the heads at EA Tiburon seem to always want to cater to somebody. Instead of just making the best representation of football that you can and let the chips fall where they may. Competitive guys will be able to adapt. Because remember, I told you guys, Gibbs and Falls told me years ago, man, I only do that because the game allows me to. It shouldn't allow me to do that. I would rather do this. Those guys basically say they would rather play real football because of their knowledge of football. But they play Madden. Some people play Madden. Some people play football. So it kind of ticked me off a little bit, man. But like I said, I don't do the Twitter stuff no more and going back and forth. So I didn't say nothing. But, since one of you guys asked about it tonight, definitely wanted to share my thoughts. I'm sure Smitty will as well. And if W chimes in, hears this, somebody clips this or whatever, I'm not coming at you. I don't know you like that. We've crossed paths a few times at EA events and things of that nature. I'm not disrespecting what you do. I actually, rooted for you when you won your time. Listen, prayed for you when you was, got nipped at the Jacksonville situation. It has nothing to do with that. It's not personal. But all I would ask is that you get an understanding of what sim guys are talking about. Now, yes, there are sim Nazis out there. But we ain't all like that, man. And I think everybody is a middle ground that we all should be on when we're talking about representing football. That's it. But I don't understand why everybody people gotta attack another It doesn't make sense. The game will never get where it needs to be as long as the community can't even agree on what they want out of a sport. It's just crazy, man. What you think, Smitty?
Well, excuse me. Like what I said earlier, our good brother Azure, which will be, he'll be back hopefully really soon. He posted about Dubby's video clip, and I watched it too. And I know Dubby at times he be clowning around, and he acts funny and all that good stuff. So I don't take offense to it. But to see him make the whole statement saying, if you want simulation, if you want realism, go outside and okay, it's like okay. Now, this is what he has to understand. Okay, bear with me a second, you guys. Now look. You guys should be able to see these games in the camera, okay? Madden 04.
My favorite.
Madden 08. EA has not put a better stretch of games together yet to date in terms of innovation from the product top to bottom. These games all have things that Madden right now does not have. Madden 20 does not have. You got better pass control in this. This is the best pass control that EA has, introducing this QB vision. Deepest franchise mode in here. Matter of fact, you got players that do contractual holdouts in this. You don't even have that in Madden right now. You have player morale in this. I want to sign that star wide receiver to my team. I got this stud rookie quarterback. Oh, guess what? That wide receiver don't want to play for your rookie quarterback.
Come on, man.
Sorry.
Come on now.
Hey, my team's in Detroit. We just won the Super Bowl. We want to sign that star DN. We want to get him on the team. He don't want to play in cold weather. Dang. Okay, I'm stuck then. 05. EA was pushed when we got this.
Yep.
Casuals existed with the casuals ain't a new thing, guys. I don't know why people act like this just happened. Casuals were around when this was going on, guys. It wasn't like you had 10 million, you had 9 million sim guys and 1 million casuals bought this. No. The casuals bought all these games.
There you go.
It was because they got pushed. You had Madden 04. You had NFL Fever. You had Quarterback Club. You had Game Day. You had 2K. 4 football games were out when this was out. You had to push. We got to be the best product and give the best experience out there. You know what we're going to do? We're not going to do franchise mode like everybody else does. You know what we're going to bring? Owner mode. See?
Wait a minute. So you telling me that 2K didn't have my GM before owner mode?
No, they ain't had that.
Okay.
No, they ain't had that.
No, okay, because because the way I hear it, only 2K can do those things.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's funny. It's crazy.
Come on,
you know
EA.
what? You know what? The other thing. Like how we talked about in NBA 2K20, where they have it where in my GM, players will literally go to a team because they don't want to play. They don't want to pay state tax. If you look at the player morale system in here, just like I just said, I don't want to play for that coach. I don't like their coaching scheme. I don't want to go. Oh, let's see, Madden 08. You got a problematic player. You got those player morale badges. You got Richie Incognito on your team. I don't like him. I'm not coming there. You did this on PS2 and Xbox. No microtransactions in sight. And you did this. You make hundreds of millions of dollars a year more per year now. And you telling me you can't best this? Madden 17, deepest franchise mode ever my foot. This beats it. You gotta be freaking kidding me. And please, don't even get me started with this. Okay? Because y'all got the ESPN license. And when I saw EA got that exclusivity, Arena League, ESPN, all that, I was like, oh man, they about to bring it because this is EA.
I thought they literally, I'm going to tell y'all what I literally thought, Smitty, and you probably was right on board.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell people all the time, I ended up going back to 05. I like the player movement better. Picture that. It felt better than 2K5. Played them both. Yep. But after a stint, after me and my boys got through, ended up going back to Madden.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, Madden is a great game, but wow, finally here's this game. I've been waiting for a game to really compete with Madden. Not because I didn't like Madden. I just wanted, even back then, I want games to go head to head.
Yep.
So here's this beautiful 2K5 that blew presentation out the window. I mean, I had never seen no video game like that. From Chris Berman to halftime, I mean, the depth. I was like,
this Mel Kiper, all that.
This thing looks like I'm literally watching Sunday Night Football on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So when Madden got the exclusivity, I said, you know what they gonna do, Smitty? Man, they just gonna steal everything 2K showed them, and now they gonna go crazy with it. Take their ideas and put that Madden stamp on it. Because remember, back then, y'all lying if y'all telling me Madden want the deal like Smitty would say.
Mm-hmm.
That deal. Everybody was Madden. So I thought, man, we're going to get the best Madden we have ever seen. Then I got duped, Smitty. Now think about it. This is coming off of the heels of that.
Yeah.
They introduced Next Generation Madden.
Mm-hmm.
For you guys who've been watching video games for a long time, this ain't that long ago, but y'all remember GameTrailers.com. I'm browsing on there, and I see this trailer. Here's the Next Gen Madden. Blown away, because remember, I'm like, dog, this is what they doing after getting the exclusive license? Oh, my word. That game never came.
Yep.
Da-da-dun-da-dun. Madden 06 on Xbox 360.
Oh.
But that's all we're saying, guys. Like, come on, man.
And
preach on, Smitty.
That's the point. So, like, the point I'm getting at, and Brett, we did talk about that. We just talked about that franchise mode bit before we jumped in, like, talking about this W thing and the simulation thing. The main point I'm getting at is this. We didn't say EA do all of this. Smitty, we weren't at EA. We're not responsible. Our names aren't on these games.
There you go.
So when W gets on camera and says, Sim guys and other guys that are really, I think he was just clowning. But there are people that are seriously, like, they seriously co-sign with that. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. You're right, W. They need to just go up. Listen, I'm not Andrew Wilson. And this was a response I posted. I'm not Andrew Wilson. I didn't say, hey, let's get Lionel Messi, John Jones, Kyrie Irving, RG3, and let's talk about what actually happens on the field, what actually happens on the court. How's the crowd ambiance? What about when you're in those critical situations? Talk about that. I could have swore it was Andrew Wilson. I didn't see Sim on stage. I saw Andrew Wilson on that stage, and he said human intelligence.
That's what he said.
He said true player movement. He said living worlds. He said, we're going to give y'all that real world. We're going to give y'all that real deal. So when you don't deliver it, what do you think we're going to say? Hey, you said that EA said they was going to give it to, what you get mad at me for? Because I'm calling it out. What cracks me up, and I'm sorry, this ain't no disrespect to Mills or nothing like that, but my man talked about franchise mode and raw dog Mad 20 at first, and then he apologized. I will never apologize. If I was in the studio and I knew what was happening, I'm just letting y'all know now, I'm a raw dog this when it comes out.
Yes.
I'm not going to, like, if you literally go into EA Studio and you walk down that first corridor to the left, you see Madden 05, Madden 004, Madden 08, Madden all that. I'm like, y'all got the better games plastered on the wall in your hallways. Your franchise mode ain't even hitting that. Y'all got it. Y'all did it already. How you going? I'm not gonna let that fly. Be like, they got these superstar traits, so they did something. No. You had that. You did it, and it wasn't OP here either. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't have to worry about oh my gosh, these abilities, and it feels like an arcade game, and no, you did it here. So I'm not. So I'm sorry. I can't. No. How you gonna set the bar, and then you think you gonna lower it, and then you gonna get mad at me when I call you out? How the heck does that work? I mean, you let me know. If you go to a mechanic and they mess up your car, they get mad. What? They gonna get mad at you because they broke your car? How you gonna get mad at me because I broke your car? What? Huh? That don't make no dang sense. You supposed to fix my stuff. You gonna break it.
Exactly.
So I pay you the money. You give me less, and I'm supposed to thank you? I don't see how that works. But see, that's why I like when Sim says, when we talk along the lines of this, all of a sudden there's friction. All of a sudden there's a problem. And look, EA Tiburon made these games. All we're saying is that you guys provided the service. You provided the goods. We're the consumer. You provided the good of the service. Because you didn't do it, that's why you got people playing this. And that's why you got people screaming for 2K to come back and all that stuff, which we're about to touch on here. Oh, yeah. But that's why people are going buck wild for all of that. Because y'all set the standard and literally lowered the bar. You pulled the okie doke move with Madden 09. Over 85 features and improvements to the game. Y'all didn't really do much to the game. But you promoted it like you made these big changes. And then things just went down. You got defensive assignments. Sim, your thing is showing the Skype symbol.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. Back, all right. It's back. Okay. You literally had defensive assignments. You had defensive assignments in NFL2K5. It wasn't in Madden until, unless I haven't mistaken, but they didn't have these assignments until, what year was it? Madden 12. And then you took it out, and it still hasn't came back since. And it's like...
Yeah, because that one, if I'm not mistaken, even in Madden, it wasn't just like it is now with the overall and speed. Couldn't you assign guys to a certain player?
Yeah, no, you could assign guys to the player.
That's what I thought.
Like, that's what I'm saying. You could assign folks. So it wasn't like how it is right now. That's a whole different system they got. You could actually assign who you wanted to defend. Like, okay, this is a tall DB. I'm gonna put that tall DB on him. Like Madden, they just assign it by height, and then that's it. You can't pick the individual. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like if I want a certain guy to play in the slot all the time.
Yeah. You
can't do that no more.
Can't do that now. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all did it. Y'all set the standard with these games, and then you lowered it. That is not our fault. As a consumer, we expect that excellence. And that's why I've said, and then, it rubbed people the wrong way, but I had said, when they made that announcement, I said, I want to see EA actually walk the talk for a change, and that rubbed folk the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how you going to tell me that EA's literally been delivering when you haven't bested PS2 and Xbox yet? You got better run animations in here than you got today. You got better pass control in this than you got today. You have pick your poison. I would say pick your poison from these four. You got a deeper franchise mode than what you got today. And you make hundreds of millions of dollars more per year, but you don't have enough resources. Right. Okay. All right, sure.
Yeah, that's right. Situational subs. That's what I knew. It was something like that it had that we don't have no more. Yep. See,
Okay.
it had all of that, man. Second team, third team.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
And see, it's funny too, man. Just looking in the chat, and guys, this is why nothing is ever foolproof because we all have our own opinions. Like I see that Luke says that he really liked Madden 11. I hated Madden 11.
Ooh, 11 was
But the things that he said he likes, I can't deny that. You know, he said it had concussions, it had real injuries, but I hated Madden 11. Player movement was horrible.
Yeah.
And he says he feels like it's better than 20. I disagree with that.
Ooh, yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. But
the subjectivity, that part, I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm not worried about
that. No one's arguing with you there, Luke. Though, that's how you feel. But it's like when you look at it on when you put it on wax, it's not better.
11 was
You know
trash.
what I'm saying? Like it's just a matter. It gets to be subjective at that point. It's
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Some people think Britney Spears got vocals over Christina. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, that's what you believe, fine, but she doesn't. But that's what you believe. And it's like, okay, well that's your belief. But now, like I said, EA did a ton of stuff, and now let's make that transition, Sim. Now we're about to go into this 2K phase.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not even gonna say that like that because
I know it's not like that, but this is the phase.
We definitely gonna dive into this thing, man. And just to kick it off real quick, man, I think this is a good place to start. Shout outs to C-Mad. I wanted to go back to a comment he left earlier, and before I read it, we all know that. So we hear the news about 2K. Was pumped for a moment until I hear a little more about non-sim, this and that, and we learned that supposedly there's a different license. I never knew this, that there was an actual simulation license. I never knew anything like that. I thought it was all wrapped in one. Of course, I did know the NFLPA and the NFL are separate licenses, but I had no idea, and I still don't know what's classified as simulation when it comes to the licensing. So, With that said, CMAD gives his definition. And again, guys, I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. I just don't know if it's fact. It could be your opinion. I don't know. So, if guys have facts, please tell us how you have the facts. But he says, sim equals NFL team logos, uniforms, stadiums, player likeness, which is the NFLPA.
Right.
Non-sim equals missing one of those ingredients. In 2K's case, it's players. This sim versus non-sim about gameplay, he said, isn't about gameplay in this NFL 2K situation. So what he's basically saying, it doesn't have anything to do with the gameplay. He's saying it mainly will just be the players and their likeness. But here's the thing, though. Here's what bothers me, and I'll be brief because I want Smitty and I to be able to go back and forth with a lot of these points. It's the same thing I said in the video I made the other day. What concerns me the most is that 2K is their statement. They're saying non-sim. Like broadcasting it. It's going to be more about fun and da-da-da-da. You got to remember, guys, 2K's reputation even right now is they pride themselves on being the most authentic basketball simulation. Do you think that company is going to promote a non-sim type of game if it didn't affect gameplay? I don't think so. Now, again, I don't know. It's all of this is speculation. And that's another thing, guys. Stop reading so far into this situation because I'm seeing so many opinions from the left and the right. But if you just look at logic, a company that promotes their basketball game is the most authentic hardwood experience. And sometimes they even say the most authentic sports title. For that company to then openly say this is a non-sim product, that doesn't sit well with me. And then I saw a video I watched earlier today. A guy said that he thinks it's just smoke and mirrors, and they're just doing this to fool. I don't know how we go so far with our theories, man. That don't make no sense to me, Smitty, at all. At all. Now again, I don't know what's true. That's what he said, yeah.
It's a public product. How you gonna do that?
He claimed they gonna disguise it, and it's really gonna be a simulation title. And I'm like, look, man.
Oh man. All right.
I just would caution everybody on that. That non-sim thing is really. And if you look at the NFL statement, like everything is lining up to almost basically saying it's not going to be what you see represented in Madden. In theory. I'm not talking about Madden being a pure sim, because people was even saying that, well, Madden ain't even close to a sim. But see, y'all getting into semantics. We're talking about a game that's 11 on 11, that's NFL players representing their likeness, performing football the way as we know it. Maybe that's what they consider simulation. But again, the fact that 2K is promoting it as a non-sim experience, that should give you a reason to pause for a moment. But it's still great, and we'll get into that. But what's your initial thoughts, Smitty?
I mean, the main thought that I have, like, from seeing the statements and everything else, like I said, I said it on First and Frame Rates. Shout out to those guys. I said it to them in the comments, and I was basically saying, like, don't be surprised if the games that come out are free to play, because I know they said console games, so you're going to get that. But don't be surprised if you get a free to play game on console and you get a mobile game. Because at the end of the day, these guys are trying to get, they excuse me. They want games that are going to be promote social interactivity.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Promote social experiences. Understand this.
That ain't franchise guys, by the way. Just keep in mind.
Right. Understand this, okay? Because when you think of social experiences, that sounds like mobile, okay? That sounds like, and I mean, this could be console too. So, because look, when I first got my Xbox 360, before I had any games for it, it came with games on it. The first game that I was playing was Uno. That's a social interactive kind of game. You look on mobile, what are games that people play? Trivia Crack, Candy Crush, Scrabble, games like that. Those are all games that promote that social interactive experience because you're competing against other people and everything, right? So it's like, don't be shocked if something like that happens, if something like that is made. Yes, honey?
Daddy, can I watch your phone?
Oh, my. My phone's out there on the couch, honey. You can watch it. Have mommy get it for you. Here, close the door, honey. All right, I'll close it. But anyways, the thing is, and I know it gets kind of scoffed at when you say mobile or free to play and say, oh, I don't know what that, I don't think they're going to do that because remember what happened in 2004 when they made it $20. This is a different day and different time. You have out Gizzy. You have a game. You literally have a game in Fortnite, okay? You got a game in Fortnite that literally makes, this year was a down year for Fortnite. And they made 1.8 billion.
Oh my god.
Okay, it was a down year this year, and they made 1.8 billion.
Was Apex Legends had anything to do with that? You think?
Probably so. Yeah, I would figure so. Like they made an impact. So that game is free to play. Warframe. I don't know how much money Warframe makes, but that's a game that's free to play that also is based off of microtransactions, and they're still around. You know, also understand, you have games like, once again, named Candy Crush. What's the name of the game? PUBG on mobile, like Call of Duty on mobile, NBA Live mobile, FIFA mobile, and Madden Overdrive, and all that stuff. These are all games that generate, at least they're at least generating hundreds of millions of dollars on mobile platform as a free to play game. You know what I'm saying? And this was another interesting stat I had seen, was that mobile gaming accounts for 60% of all the revenue in video gaming. Mobile. So it's like, you can scoff at it if you want, but don't be surprised if that's the route they go. You look at free-to-play games, you look at Apex Legends and stuff like that. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that they can't do that and be extremely profitable. If they make a game that is highly accessible and it's fun and it gives you that social interactivity and if they do all of that stuff, and it's a game that they can actually play it and be like, hey, you know what? I could play this over Madden. Guess what's going to end up happening? They're going to start throwing that Ultimate Team, especially if they do something that'll compete against Ultimate Team. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to take that money. They're going to take that money away from EA. You see what I'm saying? And that's also going to give them a good look in the NFL's eyes, depending upon what the NFL's agenda is. Maybe they're just trying to see what happens with 2K and see, if they'll be a legit suitor. Because look, the EA license isn't up for another 2 years. Okay, so it technically won't be up for another 2 years. So at that point, once they do that, if they pan out well with whatever 2K does on console, mobile, whatever they do, the NFL may mess around and say, we're going to go with just one of you guys as a suitor for simulation. But then at the same time, they may also look, and hey, because look, these games are going to come out on the next-gen console. I'm pretty confident that it's going to be on the next-gen console. So when that happens, and you look at the performance overall, and if they're in a good space, it may either just be 2K, or it may be both. And now you got legit competition going on again. This is something that a lot of these youngins didn't grow up. They don't know nothing about that competition. They're so used to just one product on the market.
Madden's
see what I'm saying?
Household name, man. You got to remember that, guys.
Yep. And this is the other thing you also got to understand too. Is that, well, I believe this, and this is something that NYKia has said on their show, on Frame Rate Show. Watch EA put out, I wouldn't be surprised if they do this, watch EA put out some of the most cleanest Maddens. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course.
That you ever will see. You know what I'm saying? And we've said this plenty of times here. We've been said this. So it's like we want the competition for the sake of that. Because that, at the end of the day, that's going to enable the devs and the people that have the overrule over the devs and be like, hey, yo, now we're going to give you all the resources. We're going to give you guys what y'all need so y'all can really crank out a bomb franchise mode, bomb gameplay, bomb this, they'll do that. So we need that. I want that to happen.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's
I'm
the
like,
bright side of this whole thing.
Heck yeah, that's what competition brings. It breeds that excellence. It makes you push harder. So we'll see what ends up happening. Listen, don't listen to these notions and these beliefs that giving less is more. Oh, this is why people are giving less in franchise mode now, because casuals don't want that. They want less, and they want simple, and they want fast, and they want... I just shown y'all all of these games, okay? You know what I'm saying? Just to bust them all out again. I just shown you all these games. They gave all of this depth. Casuals were the main ones buying these games, okay? It wasn't sim guys. It was casuals all along. That has not changed, okay? So because think about this, and this is where, and I mean, I'm gonna use Mills as an example again because we had a literal conversation about it, and while he tried to be slick with his comment, but this is what he missed when I brought up NBA Live, and I said, how come NBA Live didn't succeed? Because he basically made a point saying, well, look at my league. They didn't do that much with my league. They didn't do that much with what other games did they say? I mean, other than Madden, he named like 2 other games, like MLB The Show, and I think he said NHL or FIFA. He said FIFA, and he said FIFA, PES, 2K, and MLB. And I was like, well, how come NBA Live didn't succeed? And the comment basically he missed the point. He missed the point of me saying that. Because if you look at NBA Live, look at Live 18 and 19, those games are very simple experiences. Microtransactions are not driving the most played part of the game, which was playing the streets. Your franchise mode is extremely skimpy, very barren. So it's a very linear experience. It's very accessible for pick up and play purpose. The playing on the street, playing your street games, your games to 21 or your games to 21 or your quarter games, it's very straightforward. Or playing your head-to-head games, it's very straightforward. That game is very straightforward enough. How come that game fell off then? How come that game didn't make how come it didn't at least make an impactful dent against 2K? I can simply tell you why. Because it didn't have depth. There's no depth in that game. You had LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, and KD all shared similar animations. Like, they literally would have the exact same animations for various things. And that, come on. You see what I'm saying? You had 2-man animations all over the place, getting pulled into things and all that stuff. So it's like, there were a lot of things that the game came up short on because the game lacked a lot of core depth. It lacked depth in franchise mode, depth when it came to the streets, depth when it came to playing just your NBA games. It lacked tremendously. So that's why people didn't mess with it like that. But 2K has all the depth, even from those aspects. You can play a season if you want. Guess what? They have all the depth in there. See what I'm saying? They give you the depth. They give you everything that you want. If I watch the NBA, I could literally look at the newsreel, watch what's said on First Take about what happens in the NBA and all that good stuff, and then I can literally fire up 2K and it happens. I got the freaking CBA. If you play multiple years in my league, guess what's going to end up happening at the end of the day? You're going to keep coming to the table with the CBA agreement. Do you agree with this, or do you where they're going to have league votes on certain rules and everything, and approve and deny, and you can overrule stuff, and and it's not a placebo thing. It actually will affect stuff that happens in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they programmed it like that. They set it for all that. That's the point. They gave us all of this. So if people, if they really think that giving less is the way to go, that is not the way to go, and that is not going to help. I'm telling you, they have to give the depth. That's the key thing. So, with that being said, about 2K, whatever it is that 2K does at the end of the day, I'll just say this. Whatever it is that 2K does bring to the table, number one, I will say the main thing is that the main things for me is that it is a fun game, that it is a game that does accentuate the 2K brand. Okay? And what I mean by that is, look, Grand Theft Auto is still being played right now. They just released more new stuff for it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. You have to give layers upon layers of depth. Like, there has to be depth. There has to be layers to the game that are going to make the game fun. We don't know what kind of game it's going to be. We don't know how hard in the paint they're going to really go with it, if they do that at all. But along with that, the second most important point is that everybody has to support it. Everybody has support. I'm be just like how First and Frame Race was. I'm gonna keep it a G. Guys like Gedden, King Havo, Moody, and all these Simhead United Cats and all these other people that don't get it twisted. We all have been clamoring for 2K to come back. But I mean, these dudes were pressing so freaking hard. You guys better be front and center, buying multiple copies, doing giveaways for them. I mean, streaming it dang near every day, pushing it. You have to. You have to support it. Because if you don't, and if you say, oh man, this ain't the kind of game I want, so I'm not going to go ahead. No. If you guys have to be supporting it and pushing it. I look on my timeline and I see all these people, all the anti-2K people, y'all better be playing this game and faithfully, devotedly showcasing this game. I don't care what kind of experience it gives you. It could literally be a trading card game. Y'all better be going 8 nuts with showcasing it. I better see timeline filled full of 2K stuff from y'all. Because y'all wanted it that bad and you guys were so bent up on it. You guys better do VF. Shout out to you. But y'all better go ahead and quit playing. You guys better be going hard in the paint, and y'all better be showcasing it seriously. I'm telling you, that's it. And they're coming out with a console game. There will be a console game. They said that in the release, so there will be a console game. That's happening. So that's what we need to see happen, though. At the end of the day, it's got to be that full-fledged support. It can't be, well, I'm gonna play it for 5 minutes and I'm gonna put it down because it's not what I want. Now, if 2K doesn't come out, if 2K has their arcade-ish kind of game or whatever it is they do, but then at the same time you go ahead across the street and let's say if they actually make Madden tight. Now, if Madden comes out and it's actually tight, then what you gonna do? Are you going to be playing both, or are you going to just side with Madden now? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, because these next few years are going to be critical for EA.
Critical.
Extremely critical for EA, because now you got somebody next to you, and of all the companies it could be, it's 2K.
That's what we wanted, man.
So yeah,
that's what we asked for.
Yup. So I'm happy. Oh, I already shouted you all out. I shouted you out already, man. What you talking about? Little cats up here clowning. But go ahead, Sim, man.
Those are facts, though. Like,
yep.
At the end of the day, and again, this is what cracks me up about the community without me even seeing it, because y'all know my Twitter interaction is very low now. There's a lot of people I'm openly saying muted, blocked, whatever. I don't see a lot of the noise. But I'm pretty sure that there's bickering amongst the community. I'm already sure about that. I'm sure. But the funny thing is the original point always gets lost. The point is, this is exactly what we've been asking for. Competition. I was laughing the other day because me and my wife was actually talking, and I got on the subject. I said, man, I could care less if Wilson came out and put out a football game.
Yep.
If it's the best game, that's what I'm going to play. And I think I said that in my video the other day. I don't care. Even though we have an affiliation with EA, I am not pro-company at all. I don't care who makes the company. I'll give y'all another quick example. Just go off topic for a quick example. I love Nikes, right? I'm a Nike guy. I've always had them. I love Nikes, from Jordans to the foam posits to Air Max and Air Force One. But let me tell you something. All of a sudden, I started seeing these Adidas that was dope. Oh, I got to get me a pair of them joints. Right? All of a sudden, I started seeing a couple pair of Pumas that I like. Oh, them joints is hard. You guys will remember, I know Smitty will remember this, and a lot of you guys listening. Remember when the Grand Hills came out? Woo.
Oh.
Them won't Nikes.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I've never been a pro company like that. The only thing that I'm a super fanatic fan of, and I be joking, but I be serious at times, but if another game comes, I'll play that. Y'all know how much I love Battlefield. That's just my joint.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm biased when it comes to Battlefield. But let me tell you something. Another game comes out that gives me the stuff that I really would like to see on a next level shooter. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going over there.
Right.
And think about it. We all did it. All of us went from Madden to 2K to 2K5. Most of us grew up on live. What we playing now?
Right.
So I don't understand, and I went off a little bit, but I don't understand why it's always, see now what they going to do. I want one or two things. 2K to get back into it fully, or whatever they offer, it pushes Madden the same way Backbreaker did. So I don't care what type of game. If it's not a true simulation, I just want it to be something to poke the bear. Like, y'all better be glad we can't make a game. Look what we doing over here, and this ain't even. And it makes them get up off of that money.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing I wanted to say before I forget, it doesn't. Again, man, it doesn't make sense for this to be. Let me see how I want to phrase this. I gotta play devil's advocate a little bit when it comes to the optimism. I don't know if I'm buying this side of it, Smitty. I don't know if I'm buying the fact that, well, if that game does well, then maybe the NFL will allow. I don't know about that. And the reason why I say that is because what proof do the NFL need that 2K is capable of making a great game? They saw 2K5. Okay, so let's say, that was years ago. Do they not see NBA 2K? Do they not think that Take-Two Interactive and 2K Sports is capable of making a game that is on an NFL level? Come on now.
Right. Yeah.
What proof do they need? I don't believe the trial period. Also, the NFL is the one that holds the cards. Why is it that they are offering them this license? The NFL could very well right now say, you know what? We're going to let y'all make it. They don't, just because there's a licensing agreement with them, they are the parent company. They could definitely allow 2K to get back in right now if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that? And that's why I kind of feel like what Smitty is saying, that it's going to be we know the NFL loves exclusivity, man, and
I will say this though as well. Now, this is from reading. This is when the report first came out, and I started seeing they were verified on Twitter, people, as far as news sources, but they were saying that 2K is going to be able to make a game, and they're going to make games, social experiences, all that good stuff. But they are going to try to acquire the official license once the window is open and EA's expires. So when I read that too, I was like, oh, okay, so, okay. So, I mean, right now it's kind of water under the bridge, but it's like to hear that being said, though, is that...
Why does the NFL make a statement? That concerns me. Why do they have to tell us what this agreement is about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why do they have to be the ones that's confirming, this is what it is, it ain't that. And then, of course, EA come on top of that and say, hold on now. It ain't what it's just, again, I hope what I'm saying is wrong, but we always got to look at it from both sides. It just concerns me that everyone is openly saying what it's not. It doesn't make me believe that the NFL, I just don't know if I buy the trial period, that they want to see if they're capable. Now, from a monetary standpoint, yeah, maybe so. But I don't think the NFL, think about it. From a logical standpoint as a businessman, NBA 2K selling tens of millions of, bruh, if it don't take a genius to know that, oh, this company got something here. What? They selling that much in basketball? What? We see that people are asking for them. Wow, they are a household name as well. It ain't gonna take nothing for them to make a game and sell. So I don't know if I buy that, but that doesn't mean that after 2021, which would be Madden 22, it doesn't mean that they won't open it up. I'm not feeling optimistic about that yet until we, I'm gonna hold my optimism.
Until we really get right. I mean, it's like this is like absurdly early prediction. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I get that part, but I'm with you with what you're saying. I'm with you with this, but I think you know what? I also think that the NFL is, even though with the success. I think because of the success with the NBA 2K franchise is why they're giving them that shot in this more casual, way. Because, it wouldn't surprise me if they went for both. I'm pretty sure 2K went for both. Can we get the NFL and the NFLPA? And it was like, nah, just the NFL.
Yeah.
Let's see what y'all do with it. And then when they're up with this, then we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got to wait and see what they do first. And then if they do something for real, then it's going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Because it has been 15 years.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? That's a mighty long time from the football standpoint to be like, oh, because of what y'all did with basketball, we're just going to give it to you. I think they want to, at the end of the day, they want them to see improve because EA has had that partnership with the NFL for a mighty long time. You know what I'm saying? Like nearly 30 plus, over 30 years. So it's like you've had a relationship that dang on long. Like if you're going to potentially part ways or possibly open it up to someone else being in that space, you want to make sure that that's a sound move you're making. You know what I'm saying? So we will see what ends up, excuse me, we will see what ends up happening or not. I am openly optimistic with it, like how Sim, like I said, Sim, I'm open to what they do. I'm gonna support it one way or another.
It's gonna create competition either way. Yeah. That's the key.
Yeah. So
EA can't sit on their hands no more.
Right. Well, see that right there. That's the other thing about it too. That's why it depends upon what kind of experience we get on console.
Yeah.
If they do something that's completely off base, it won't be a threat at all to EA. They won't really care about it. They'll wash it off. Oh, okay, that's what they did or whatever. But if they do something that does make people really have to think, like really play and be like, hey, yo, this ain't the ultimate sim experience and all that, and that we're used to seeing 2K do with basketball at least. But this is a lot of fun, and I could really get into this. Like, if they give something that everybody can really get into like that, that's something that can really tickle the fancy of the NFL and be like, okay, well, you know what? We may go ahead and let these cats have it. Let's see what happens if these dudes really do something. If they, do something with it.
What if they go? This is just throwing it out there to be funny. What if after Madden 22 they decide they still want exclusivity and they give it all to 2K? Yo, that would be something, man. We'll see. We'll see. I don't trust the NFL, man. Their history just tells you that they want exclusive. Like, I get it. I understand even how they were pissed that 2K cut their costs and all of that back in 2K. I get it. Maybe you slap them on the wrist for a year. But you don't. To me, that was stupid in my opinion. Because I think you took some money off the table. To me, it was maybe you didn't want all them other brands because you don't want to water it down. But you keep at least two powerful brands, EA, 2K, and have them compete for the dollar. From then up until now, do you know how many units they would have sold between the two games? That's the part of the NFL I don't get. Like, yeah, you was pissed because they undercut the money. I understand that. But maybe you hit them with a stiff fine or something like that. But imagine having 2 games since 2K5 that have the biggest household names. They would have pushed each other, and you would have still sold units. Both games probably would have sold at least 6 million. I'm speculating there, but I'm saying 2K was on the come up. You would have had people who preferred 2K, some who preferred EA. Both would have been good games, I would estimate, and you're making money on both sides. And maybe they do have the idea to do that after the 2021 NFLPA exclusive license, or whatever they're calling it, the simulation license, which I believe is the NFLPA. We'll see, man. I have to be cautiously optimistic. I definitely agree with what my boy Neff says here, man. You know, if not anything else, EA will have to bring it in these next 2 years. Because, again, the worst thing that you want is allowing 2K to get back in at any capacity. And you got a majority of your fan base saying, man, why can't they make a full game? You don't want that type of pub. You know, it's different when you are the only guy on the block, where you know there's a threat, but there ain't no threat because you're the only one there, than being the guy on the block, but you know the other guy on the block got something, not really necessarily what you got, but enough to make people raise an eyebrow. That ain't good pub right there. So like I said, man, you know, the fact that 2K will have some resemblance of NFL football, whether it's non-simulation or not, which I hate that word, and I'm hoping it's not the worst. I hope this turns out to be better than what it sounds, but I don't like the sound of that because, again, 2K doesn't advertise their games as being non-sim. So I don't like that they are already saying that, as well as the NFL, as well as EA adding on top of it, you know, adding the cherry on the top saying, yeah, by the way, they don't have this license. I don't like the sound of that, guys. I really don't. So my only hope is that maybe the NFL feels like they want to go ahead and jump back into having 2 revenue streams from a apples to apples standpoint, and they decide that, you know, they will allow both companies to pay for the license. But again, a lot of things is going to come down to, is this going to be profitable for 2K? You know, you got to look at that too. You know, again, man, I try to take my selfishness out of the equation as far as me saying I just want the best simulation product. We all do. But I'm looking at this from a grand standpoint, you know, a big picture standpoint, business standpoint, because that's how companies decide. Is 2K going to feel like after those games that they're going to produce that it will be beneficial for them to jump back into an arena where Madden is dominant? I know what some of you guys are going to say. Yeah, because, you know, they could kill Madden. It ain't about that. We're talking about fiscal years. And it's going to take, listen, let me tell you something. It's going to take them a minute to catch Madden in terms of revenue. I don't care. They could make the best football game we have ever seen. Let's say 2K22 comes out. Could be the best football game we have ever seen. Even with that said, from a business standpoint, it's still going to take them time to catch Madden from a revenue standpoint. So that's my concern as well, Smitty. As you stepped away, I was telling everybody, regardless of what games they give us in these upcoming years, the non-sim ones, it's still going to come down to how they perform from 2K's comfort level. You know, it's still going to have to make sense for them to feel like, man, do we really want to jump back in that Madden arena? Because Madden has grown into this global thing. They know they're going to have to invest. I'd say, let's say license comes up after Madden 22. They're notified. Because, again, guys, you know, we know Madden is a year ahead as far as the number. They're notified, okay, we're going to let both of you guys make a game for the next year of 2022, which would be the 23 games.
Right.
From that point, I still think it takes 2K minimum 3-4 years to even crack into the revenue. And that's what I was telling everybody is we have to. I was telling everybody we got to look at it like that. We can't look at it with our selfish minds of we just want the game. Of course we do, but you got to look at from a business standpoint. Will they decide, yo, man, is this worth it? So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best, but cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, see, but the thing is, 2K has the capital to go after.
They got it. They definitely.
So it's not that they don't. They don't have it. They can. So it's like, yeah, it's a big investment, but you think they wouldn't make that in my team money or whatever? Like they'll make the money if they deliver the experience. They will make the money. And this is the other thing too. 313 came right on time with it. They can be working in the background. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? On something. They could already have something.
Yeah. So, prototype already in the works.
Yeah. They could already have something dang near ready.
Shoot, so what if they actually know? That's another thing. And I'm glad you said it. What if they know that the NFL has basically already said, look, man, we're going to let y'all. You never know. You never know what could be going on.
They could. No, you're right. They could. They could just be figuring out the number and at the end of the day and just be like, hey, look, man, we going to go with y'all because looking at what you guys are doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, they may just straight go ahead with it. Like, look, y'all got the 2K league rolling. Y'all done did this and did that. You guys are the household name with y'all product and everything like that. Of course, Madden is, but they the only product. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, it's not a household name by default, but you guys are a legit name in the game. Like, y'all had, and that's the thing. You had recent competition to go up against, and they couldn't withstand the test of time. That you wiped them out. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, think about that. 2K literally rose up and wiped out Live. They took them completely out of everything. Remember, you would see on the boxes of Live, it would be like number one rated, number one selling franchise, number one selling basketball franchise and all that. And they kept putting that label on there. But as 2K steadily came up, they ended up getting best rated. They would say that multiple years. Best rated franchise. They couldn't say best selling. They said best rated franchise. And then it got to a point where they were like number one best rated and best selling franchise. And EA couldn't put that label on their boxes no more. You got ran out the building. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's because they just innovated and pushed. They kept going. They took it up a level and expanded out. Took it up another level, expanded out. And they did that again even this year with 2K20. While dudes try to say they did very little, when you already invented the wheel, you don't need to reinvent the wheel every year. That's pointless. Those Madden titles I've shown you, they didn't reinvent the wheel every year. They literally just built. They added more building blocks and more depth. Things that were already in place, they added more depth to it. They expanded upon. That's it. That's all I expect. And because when you have something good already set in place, you don't need to go above and beyond the call. So we'll see, like I said, we'll see what happens, but I will say this. People, please curb your expectations.
Yes, man.
Be careful. Like, don't be thinking that this is not about to be the NFL2K5/APF revival all of a sudden. Oh, well, it says non-licensed, so non-licensed means no. Let's see what they actually come out with, or what they intend on releasing. Okay? Man. Let's see it, because your personal interpretation of like, well, that ain't sim, so that means they can do it. No. Stop thinking that APF 2K20, that 2K21 or 22 about to drop. That doesn't mean that. Okay, so please temper those expectations with being so excited. This is very exciting news. Don't get us all wrong. This is very exciting. But at the same time, exercise that caution along with it too, because if what ends up happening is not what you really wanted, you're gonna be mad in the mug, and then guess what you're gonna look at? You're gonna be blaming 2K. Man, how come they ain't do that? It's like, no, that's because of what you said that they were gonna do. They didn't tell you that's what they were doing. You assumed they were gonna do that, and because they ain't do it, oh, I ain't buying. Nope, you still better buy it. Now you don't have to play it, but you better buy it. Like, you better support it, because if you want, like I said, if you want these people to be a viable option at the end of the day, you got to support it. I mean, I know 2K ain't they're not an indie studio or nothing like that, but at the same time though, what if these few years end up being a failure? Guess what? 2K goes away, and now we're back in the same situation that we've been in again, with just EA being there. You see what I'm saying? They'll push for the next 2 years or whatever with their product, and then after that, they're going to go right back to regular scheduled programming, because there won't be anybody there to push them. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just have to see what happens, like I said. But that's all we're going to do. Just pay attention and see what happens, and we'll call it from there. I mean, we still got a good year and some change before we really know what ends up happening.
2 years.
So.
Oh no, they said 2021.
No, they said they said
so we get something next year.
Yeah, it'll be next year, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you still got a ways to wait and see what these guys are gonna actually do. So we'll see.
You know what it's gonna be.
What?
I'm gonna just throw. Everybody's speculating, so let me just put my imagination to work. Social interaction. All right, so that makes me think park. And then some people will say, well, how would you do park in NFL? This is what I see might happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some type of my player situation where you create your guy, customize them the same way we do with my player, put your face on them and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Then they're going to steal from Madden's idea, right? They're going to steal from MUT squads, right? So you're going to be able to create a player and go to, like, not parks, but maybe there are these local fields or something that you can join up and play. That's how, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Right, yeah, no.
It might be something like that at first, but the gameplay might be great, right? It might be where, because non-simulation, to me, this is where I will agree with CMAD. That doesn't mean that the gameplay isn't well respected. It doesn't mean that their true, I forgot their true motion technology, whatever it's called. It doesn't mean that player movement won't be there. And the fact that NBA 2K is continuing to work against removing two-man animation, it don't mean that stuff won't be in the game now.
Right.
It just means that it's not the full-blown 11-on-11 representing. So that's where I think it could be interesting, and that's where I think even if they do something like that, but the gameplay is clean and crispy, that's where it can push EA. Because you already know, Smitty and myself, and some of you other guys will be making comparison videos. Look how they running in this 2K, 2K playgrounds, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So it might be something like that, man. I don't know. We'll see. But all I will say is we can end the show with this. Agreeing with what Neff said earlier. And also another guy. Let me go back and get his name correct, man. You stupid fool. He says, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit because I can't find it. There it is. The original comment. He says, it shouldn't be about killing Madden. It should be about making better football games all around. And then Neff followed that up by saying, instead of battling it out, both companies can make good games from here on out. I would prefer 2 to 4 choices, not only one, even if it's 2K. And that is the point.
Yep.
That's the whole point.
That's literally it.
Regardless of how you feel, they feel, we feel, the point of this whole thing should be for us as the consumers to get the best game ever. I would be overjoyed if Madden 21 ends up being Madden 08 on steroids, depth-wise, with super clean gameplay. You think I'm going to be mad at that just because it's EA, Smitty?
Right. No.
Because we're not happy with Madden now. You think I'm just going to have my lip poked out, man, forget EA. I don't care how good the game is. No. It ain't about that, man. It's not about, all right. Matter of fact, this is the last thing we can say. Wouldn't y'all prefer to have another basketball game at the moment? Not saying 2K is bad, but wouldn't you like it if you could just pick up a legit live or a legit inside drive, any of them games, NBA show that? Wouldn't you like that? Don't some of you guys say that y'all don't like 2K? Think about that for a minute. Some of y'all don't like it. Wouldn't you like to have another game? So why are we always trying to kill Madden and have one remaining game? It don't make sense. I want choices.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
End of the day. No, I agree. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Good choices, quality choices at the end of the day. That's true.
Quality choices, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But any last things, Smitty, before we roll out, man?
No, man, that's all I got, man. I mean, this, it's been a minute since we was able to talk, and we had some very eventful things happen. So this was definitely fun. Like always, we appreciate you guys coming through. Like Sim and I always say, get at us on Twitter. Definitely send us questions. Not questions, but topics. There are ideas of topics or things you want to talk about necessarily. By all means, let us know something. So that way, we're not necessarily just trying to think of, things to necessarily talk about and then get into. So, but all in all, man, appreciate all you guys, like always.
Absolutely, man. And last but not least, man, I'm just responding to a message here. Guys, be safe, man. Be safe. Yes. Be smart. Listen, we all adults. Ain't like we got to tell y'all what to do, but just the routine things, man. Keep your hands washed, sanitize them. If you touch a doorknob, shake a hand. You're on public transportation, just keep your hands out of your face. Things like that. Don't be so afraid. Let's all keep an eye on what's actually happened. Pay attention to what's really happening. Not just what the media is telling you about how many people are getting it, how many people are dying, because it's still a very, very low percentage. And now we actually have real case studies that we all can see. The media can't hide. We all going to be finding out what's going to happen with Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So now we all will be able to see in real time in case, because some people don't believe some of the stories. This is weird too, Smitty. Some people don't believe the testimonies of people who said they had it for whatever reason. But we're going to find out with those guys.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I got, man. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, everybody be safe, man. Have a good night, good weekend. Love your family. Stay inside if you have to, and just be aware. That's all I can say. But we'll definitely catch you guys next time. Appreciate y'all tuning in. God bless. Good night. Peace.
Peace.